Okay, here we are. We've got the base of the cockpit together. Got it all trimmed up all the way around. It's all folded the way it's supposed to go. The next thing we need to do is try, this had a lot of open area in the side. I'm trying to simulate that with some pieces that look like the interior, what is it, the framework. Anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to get pieces that look like this. What they're going to do is they're going to fit right below this ledge here. So what you need to do is when you first get the piece, take a straight edge and lay it along the bottom and on the top of this and draw a straight line on both of those. And then we're going to trim to that line, and you can even get on a belt sander and trim all the way down. So what you're trying to do is get this to where it will fit up against here and actually be able to close. Now this is an earlier version, and this is just a sample, but you cut it all the way out. It's about 6 inches long. It's the same length as the cockpit deck here, and you're going to glue it in place along the just along the bottom here. Now you can choose how and when you paint this. So anyway, that one goes on this side. All right, and then you have another one that is just open framework that goes on the other side, and those will glue into place, and you can see how it folds up there. Now the newer one, it had some toggle switches here. When you before you start cutting this piece out, if you'll go to the drill press, and if you'll shine a light across sideways, I've already drilled them out here with a 3/64 drill, but you'll see little indentions all the way across here. That was for the toggle switches themselves, and we'll do those with the toothpicks like I've done in the past. You paint them silver. You go ahead and paint all this first, paint the toothpick silver, and you'll push them in from the back, and that'll simulate your toggle switches. So we're going to get all that done, but I wanted to show you how to cut these pieces out and put them on the sides. So I'm going to get that part done, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, I went ahead and painted this because you need to, when you get to this point, you need to go ahead and get at least the base colors on. Before I glued these sides on here, I went ahead and put my toggle switches in. I drilled the holes and then painted my toothpicks and pushed them in from behind, glued them in place, and then cleared off all the extra toothpick on the back. But anyway, that side's in. I went ahead and put this side here. Now to continue the framework and to make some of the gauges work, not the gauges, but actually the levers work, I had to come in here and make a, if you look at the sides, there's an angle that comes off here, just enough so you can put a, I think it's 3/16 inch dowel. You have to cut it yourself and angle it, but it goes from the corner up here down to the corner of the seat, or the corner of the pedestal for the seat. Okay, you're going to do one on each side. And what we're going to do is we're going to put those in, and then we're going to glue them in place. I still have to do some sanding on these to get these all nice and cleaned up. But they will go in there like so. And see, when the seat comes in here, it sits right down on here. It'll be up against the back of the headrest and sit down. That's just a piece of tape on there right now. And when you look down, you'll see that the pieces, when you look down, you'll see the pieces go on top, go underneath the seat. All right. We got there's some throttle control levers that go, or I think they're throttle control, go on this side also. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those made up, and I'll show you where they go. But anyway, I just wanted to show you these sides here. They are glued, and they're glued, and it's locked in at the 90 degrees. So this is ready to be put into the plane itself. But we're gonna finish putting a little bit of the more things in it before we move to installing it. So I'm going to get these put in and glued and painted, and we'll move on from there. Okay, here I am back with the cockpit. I've got it all ready to be installed into the plane. I've added other things. I went ahead and these supports here, I went ahead and painted those. I added in a fuel, this was called the fuel selector here. That'll be in resin. There's a elevator trim tab. Now this is put in, there's a 1/4 inch dowel piece cut, and it's glued to the back of this, and then this is put in between the two posts there. That's in there. This is a throttle, and it was made by taking a, I think it's a 1/8 inch dowel, which will be supplied, and taking a toothpick. And that 1/8 inch dowel, I drilled a hole in one end of it, and went ahead and put the toothpick in it, and glued it together, and then painted it and put it in place. That was where the throttle was. There was an amp meter back at the back. I've got it, a resin piece for it. You can put it in place. The rudder pedals, they were more or less just a straight line across here. Now, it did have a loop here. You can make that out of a piece of ABS if you want, whatever you feel, for the rudder pedals. Okay, there was like a small attaché case on this side, and also like a paper holder here. And I will have parts in ABS that you can. This is resin, the attaché, and then this is a piece of ABS. You just paint it and glue it in place. I found out that this right here was the retract switch, and then on the inside was flap control. So that's what that is. There's a piece of ABS cut made for it. You just have to cut it out and glue it between the two posts. And I still haven't quite figured out what this lever is back here. But there's also, I'll pull the chair off. You can see that there's a rounded piece on here, and this a piece of aluminum and a pin will be supplied to make that. Like I said, on these cockpits you can always add more by adding wire and other things to make it look a little bit more busy in there. I have gone ahead and cut this the angle that I had before going over the edge. You can actually leave about a 1/16 of an inch, because once it's installed, the canopy will actually come over that edge a little bit, and the painted canopy should cover it up some. So you can adjust that to what you need. Also, the joystick, I've got it painted. You just have to drill a hole in the center. I just slowly worked it out with a X-Acto knife till I got the right size, and that goes in the center. Okay, to install this, I do pull. It'll be one of the last things we put in. We're going to take this. It's all prepared in here. You just want to make sure ahead of time that everything slides in good, and you're just going to apply glue across these edges here, put it up in place, and best thing to do is either tape it or use the clothespins like I do. You can reverse them and use that to hold it in place until it's glued in. Okay, that part's ready to go in. I'll get this installed in the airplane and come back and show you how we're going to close up the back and get the rest of the stuff installed.